Welcome to Career Shots from Beyond Your School. My name is Tarini Kapoor and I'm your host for today. What after school is one of the most critical life decisions for every high schooler and their parents. Beyond Your School is a platform that brings different stakeholders together to help students and parents navigate this complex process successfully. Our guest for today is Kavya Manchanda. She is a freshman at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Welcome, Kavya.
Hi.
So tell us a little about yourself.
Okay. I'm Kavya Manchanda, and I'm currently a freshman in the University of Massachusetts Amherst. I'm studying computer engineering. I'm 18 years old. I like to sleep and eat food. Yeah, that's it.
And how are you liking Yuma?
I actually really like the new college experience and everything. Like, it might get overwhelming at times, keeping up with assignments and prioritizing your like project work or everything, or even if you want to do other stuff like working out or extracurriculars. So all of that, the whole college experience and plus shifting countries might get intimidating and overwhelming at times. But I'm liking it so far, and I'm getting used to prioritizing my stuff and then making a checklist every day. And it feels pretty good to like live independently, do all your stuff on your own, all of that.
That sounds great. So, how is the shift from CBSE to UMass?
So I think like in my initial weeks, especially in math, I saw like they were like in the US system, there are more application based questions instead of like direct formula based questions, which I was used to in CBSE. Like in CBSE, they would just give you the numbers and you can just put it in a direct formula, and it's not very application based. Like you don't have names of people doing this or that, and then there's like it was I found the questions in my math lectures kind of weird, so I had to like get used to them, and I had to like get used to focusing on the main part of the question instead of distracting myself with all the names and extra information that is not actually needed. So I think like its US based system is a lot practical, a lot based on practical implications and everything. So it was kind of difficult, but not that difficult. Plus, all the syllabus and concepts and everything, I had already done those in class 11th and 12th majorly. If you have science, you would have also done that, like if you had math, basically. So yeah, the syllabus was the same and pretty easy, and the level of the questions was much easier than CBSE, of course. So yeah, it's just the type of the questions that you have to get used to. It's
So,
pretty
do you like
easy.
the way of teaching at UMass better than CBSE?
Um, I guess so. Yeah, maybe because here I can also like relate a situation, a real life situation to a question, maybe. Like it is much easier to relate stuff. In CBSE, it was just bookish and like um, your knowledge is like up to the point you give the exam and then that's it. So maybe yeah, not just UMass, the whole American systems of education is I think much better.
And did you always know what you wanted to do, or did you change your courses or majors and minors?
No, I didn't exactly know. Like I knew I had to do something in the field of computers, like either computer science or computer engineering. Basically in STEM. Also was about to choose math as my major, but I knew I had to do something in STEM. And I didn't even know if I was going to stay abroad or stay in India or like all of that. Um, all the processes, application dates, due dates, and like essays, everything. I started that pretty late. So in my case, I don't think I knew everything, and I did not have everything planned. But yeah, the only thing I knew is that I had to do something in computer. So I applied the same major in every school.
Some clarity is always amazing. So, that's really good. But the
Yeah.
deciding process has three factors: the course, the
Mhm.
university, and the country. So, according to you, which factor comes first, and how do you decide that?
I think definitely the course that you want to do comes first. Like I mean, the college that you want, the location, the weather factors, all of those can come like they take a backseat when you're deciding your major or your minor or whatever is it that you want to do. Because your 4 years of high school are basically what you spend on exploring the stuff that you like. It might be an extracurricular like dance or music or whatever. It might be like math or computer science or physics or whatever. So you like in the 4 years of high school, you know that you are interested in this thing. So I think it's the easiest and the foremost step to decide that what do you want to study in college. And then maybe the country comes second, because you want to make a list, you want to shortlist some colleges, you want to then start applying, look at the deadlines, because for international applications they start pretty early, like in mid November or mid December. And like you have to decide where you want to apply, what time you want to apply, and you have to ask for letters of recommendations, all of that. So maybe choosing a country, choosing a college, like making a short list of the college comes second. And then yeah, country and college is like almost on the same level, and they're like happening simultaneously, so you know which country and college that you want to go to. um and the last would be all of the other factors, like geographical factors, weather and location, sightseeing, all of that, because you have to stay there for 4 years, so you have to know like what would you like to do if in your free time and all of that. And it also
That makes
like you have to also see if it's a school that you would like to go to based on its population or like its reputation as a party school, as an academic school, all of that. If you're not a very party person, maybe you have to choose a smaller school, or like a school that is more scenic and not that um, party like a jock school. So all of that also matters, but that comes at the end.
that makes sense. So, which grade were you in when you started this process of applying abroad?
Applying abroad, I was in grade 12, like it almost finished. It was almost finishing. And I didn't know, like I was about to stay in India and I hadn't decided about like going abroad. So it was pretty iffy in my case, but usually like a regular student who has to go abroad would start the process in like mid 11th, because you have to give your like there's a lot of admission tests, not a lot of, but like two or three. There's SAT, there's ACT, and then there's the English proficiency test, IELTS. So you have to start planning for that in like mid 11th or 11th end maximum. But I'd already given the SAT in class 11th, and all the other planning, writing essays, asking for LORs, consulting a counselor, all of these steps I started doing in like December of grade 12th. So it was pretty late. I mean, I only had time to fill in regular decision applications, which is the last round of applications. And like because all the applications were early decision, early action, this is for US specifically, and like those ended in mid November and December, so I couldn't fill those out. But yeah, so I started pretty late.
So, why the decision of going well, to UMass or applying abroad? So why so late? What made you change your mind?
So like since maybe August, our counselor was hosting a lot of sessions online, because my from my school there's a lot of people going abroad every year. It's like a trend or something, I don't know, but there's a lot of people going abroad. So I had a lot of friends who were applying abroad, and then I thought that I could give it a shot. So I was attending those sessions regularly, by the counselor, and I was in touch with my counselor also. She knew that I was kind of interested in applying, but then I hadn't discussed it thoroughly with my parents. And like in their mind, I still wanted to stay in India. And even it wasn't clear in my mind if I wanted to stay here or go abroad, or like what's the most definite thing that I want to do. So like I have a habit of procrastinating things. So at the end of like when my counselor was like, you really need to start filling out applications, then I was like, I need to consult a private counselor because I'm like very late at this. So I went to a counselor, and that's how my thing started.
That's great. So, can you share some of the challenges that you faced during the admission process or after reaching there at campus?
Um, a few like I so when I reached campus, I immediately found a lot of Indian friends, and like in my residence building, that my residence building is full of Indians, because it's like It has this thing called break housing where you can stay in your dorm during breaks. So it has a lot of international students, and a majority of them are somehow Indians. So I didn't have a problem in the scenario of making friends. But otherwise, I think in my classes, so we have like huge lecture halls with around 300 or 250 students, and then it becomes very difficult to get personal attention from the professor. It gets very hard for the professor also to get to know you personally. So that was something because I wanted to build a connection with my teachers, and like they help in your LORs, finding internships, other opportunities, or you can be their research assistants in the future. So I wanted to have wanted to be in touch with them. But I think in a class of 300 students, it can get tough. So I tried like reaching out to them through LinkedIn or through like their emails. And then a very good way I like started making some connection was through the discussion sections, which happen like once in a week, and they are conducted for basically they're like very shorter classes. They're like 50 students maximum, and then you can connect with the teacher assistant that is the assistant of the professor. So like through him I contacted my professors and all of that. So it is kind of tough as compared to India because you can get a lot of attention because there's a class of 30 or 40 students maximum when you're back in high school. So you're not used to that, and it gets kind of tough to maintain a relationship. But with time, if you put effort, it's like all okay. And then maybe also um, like working on myself personally, because ever since I've joined college I've started working on myself, like working out, going to the gym a lot more than I used to in India, because I see people around me and they're like all conscious about what they eat in a day, what they're doing, are they exercising enough, are they studying enough, are they sleeping on time, all of that, because it's college and you have to like there's no one else who's going to take care of you. So yeah, that was one advantage. I had like a few here and there like insecurities about myself when I saw other people, but then I learned to work on myself. So yeah, it only worked out for the better.
That's great. So, do you have any advice for the people going through the process right now?
Right now, it depends on what stage of the application process you are. But my advice is just to be like in your essays, be honest, be like, don't try to think what would impress the admission, like the person who's reading your essay, because the only thing that would impress them is you being yourself. Because I tried to like use new words or rich vocabulary and all of that. It helped a bit, but at the end what helps is what's really going on in your head. So you have to just jot down your thoughts and put it in a proper way, just like if it's, I mean, put it in an interesting way. You don't have to change your ideas, you just have to change the way it looks to the reader. um and yeah, that's for the essays. And otherwise I would say keep in touch with your high school teachers, because they might even help you in applying for internships in the initial years of college, because those are your like references, your most personal references that you can get and the most easiest. So yeah, and yeah, and about the SATs and ACTs, those are pretty simple tests, given that if you live in India and you have studied in India, there's those are like you can prepare for like a month or two and you can ace them, because it's not that hard, the math especially. But maybe for English, SAT English, you might have to practice a bit, but there's a lot of online resources, so it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, and for even for IELTS or TOEFL, you don't have to freak out. It's not like they're not checking um your accent or anything. You just have to be fluent in English. So it's yeah, chill.
Well, these are a lot of useful insights. I'm sure everybody will be very happy with them. And thank you everyone for watching this. And for more such insights, please visit www.beyondyourschool.com. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.